Hey there, so today we have another review. I'm excited for this one. This is the last one of the bunch. Oh, geez, what's this down? Sorry. Sometimes, I guess a bottle opener shouldn't do it, but I just thought I could have the glass. But this is the last one of the bunch. I say ideally the best for last. Maybe we'll see. This was my favorite of the bunch. It's also the highest alcohol, but then again, this 12-pack has not really high alcohol brew in it. I think it ranges from 5.2 for the Nooner, 6.2 for the 6.2 for the Hop Hunter, 6.2 for the flip side, and this is 6.6. So no sevens, all under 7%. So ideally, relatively sessionable for some people. This beer comes in lighter than the red IPA. This is a rye IPA. Obviously, some crystal malt in here, and again, not a fun label, but like, what is it even? It's like a lady with a bunch of grains, barley, and like, I don't know, almost looks like a I don't know, what do you call it? Like some kind of fantasy, kind of like, who knows? I don't know what kind of art style you call that, but I was thinking of the Ruthless Rye IPA. It comes in a medium amber color. The last one was dark amber with the or deep amber with the flip side. And this one you can definitely see a little bit more clarity to it, a little bit lighter of a head. It's like an off-white, very, very light tan. So this one smells a little bit similar. With that crystal malt and whatever hops they're using. Ooh, they don't say it. So it combines with a peppery spice of rye with bright citrusy hops. So I assume they're also using some amount of like Citra. They love Centennial, maybe some Cascade, maybe some Simcoe. So maybe it's similar kind of like hop profile. I think they might have it online, but like, who knows? Here, it's a little bit more earthy, but definitely quite red berry forward still. Like not as jammy and not as marijuana dank, but definitely a lot of strawberries, a lot of red berries, a lot of cranberries, stewed cranberries, cranberry sauce, hawthorn fruit again, goji berry. So similar nose for sure. Cheers. Yeah, falls on palate. Very fruity, very red berry forward. I think full blind, a lot of people would actually like confuse the two beers. They carry with both with a good amount of this caramel sweetness. This beer ends up with a little bit more lingering bitterness. The back end palate is definitely more bitter, noticeable. So medium plus bitterness on the back end, whereas the last beer was definitely a medium bitterness. What else on this beer? Fruitiness is definitely a little bit more tamed down. Definitely a lot of red berry, but not as fruity and jammy. I feel last beer was more juicy and compote forward. This one definitely has some of that, but toned down more. And then you notice the bitterness a little bit more aggressive. It's definitely now is drinking more lingering bitterness. And then the bitterness on here, you definitely get a little bit of that kind of like cracked black pepper spice and a little bit of that kind of rye. I've noticed is something that happens in rye whiskeys too. But there's they call it spice, but sometimes it's minty. I get it here. It's eucalyptus. It's got this lingering eucalyptus. If you've ever, the koalas eat it too. But if you ever see the plant, try it. Grab a leaf and just bite into it. It's very mentholy and minty eucalyptus. Yeah, a little bit like chewing gum and toothpaste, kind of like mentholy kind of character to it. The body's probably a little bit thicker too. We're talking about something that's about 0.5 ABV higher. Strange enough, I might like the complexity of the last one more. So now we flipped because I think Ruthless Rye was actually my favorite of the last 12 pack, and now I feel like flip side is going to be my jam, my favorite one. Yeah? So as I drink more, this one reminds me more of a pure Sierra Nevada beer, more of a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, more of a Torpedo, more Sierra Nevada Pale Ale probably. It has that signature kind of like Sierra Nevada crystal malt flavor, right? That juicy middle flavor where it's like caramel sweetness and Maillard character, and leaning more towards like French toast and like maple syrup French toast, right? Obviously no maple here, but that kind of like sweetness, right? And that toastiness of the French toast, so that Maillard plus the sweetness of the syrup. The upfront flavor is going to give you a little bit of that kind of strawberry, again, hawthorn or goji berry, but definitely not as strong and jammy, juicy as the flip side. Sorry, I keep comparing the beers because they're so close. And then it really does taste more like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So if you're a big Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or Torpedo fan, you're gonna love this guy. Definitely the bitterness lingers like a Sierra Nevada Torpedo, and then you don't get the marijuana dankness that you got from the flip side. It is more standard bitters, pine, lingering, eucalyptus, minty, and then it just has a clean lingering bitterness. So despite the juicy kind of like crystal malt character, it's not that sweet of a beer at all, obviously, because the bitterness helps. Dry beer for sure. As I wait more, you get a little bit of melon character, a little bit of like cantaloupe in there for sure. I've never done it, but if you can grill cantaloupe and you get a little bit of that kind of caramel Maillard reaction on that, maybe. And maybe a little bit of grilled pineapple in there as well. So a little bit of tropical and stone fruit, melon and tropical fruit in here probably as well. Hint of it. But it really doesn't rely too much on super fruitiness. It really relies on more noticeable kind of just standard Sierra Nevada crystal malt and bitterness. Very good. Very good. This beer is actually, strangely enough, a little cleaner. A little bit... what's the word I'm looking for? It's drier. It's drier than the Flipside IPA. Because it has more bitterness too. So I guess part of that is that. So it's also drier and maybe a little bit more bitterness. But that's for rating. Whereas last time, I liked the Ruthless Rye more. I'm definitely giving the win to Flipside for sure. It's a noticeable win there. So that could be your guy 98. This one's going to get a solid 96. They don't make red colored beers anymore. They don't make red IPAs. They don't make rye IPAs. IPAs you find are just not going to be this colored. I mean, Sierra Nevada Pale is obviously a classic example, and that beer is, arguably almost an amber ale, but not quite. But again, in today's world, that's the closest thing you're going to get to amber ale for a lot of people, right? Because amber ale is really just not produced anymore. Red IPA is not really produced anymore. Crystal malt forward rye IPAs aren't be produced really anymore. So solid 96. Solid bitterness on this guy. Clean. And the coolness about this beer is that it does have that chunky crystal malt character that is almost like biting into crystal malt, which is such a signature Sierra Nevada flavor. If you know one familiar with Celebration, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and the Torpedo, this is going to be right up your alley. This is the closest beer out of that bunch to a Sierra Nevada beer, right? You're talking about a German tasting Pilsner. You're talking about the Hop Hunter, which is a, tastes like Pacific Northwest and West Coast IPA, a modern West Coast IPA. And then you have a red IPA that's like very distinctly like red berry marijuana. That's like so distinct on its flavor profile. This is the most Sierra Nevada beer out of the bunch, out of the box. This one tastes the closest to the profile of the beers that or most people should be familiar with Sierra Nevada. So, 96. Anything else I can say? Crushable. I mean, this is 6.6. It's got a lot of impact for a beer that's under 7%. If I had to full blind guess, if a full blind guess, I would have guessed this beer was like 7.5 or 7.3 or something, right? So really good ABV, 6.6, crusher, super tasty. I think that's definitely over Pale Ale, but Torpedo I believe is around 7, so right around that ABV. So 96, fantastic. That's the full box for you guys. Let me know. Post in the comments below. This is a double review because these beers are absolutely amazing. I mean, again, I gave 93, 94, 96, 98 off a shelfie. So that's really crazy. That's really delicious beer. If you like your hops, get it. And you get a little Pilsner in there too. So 96. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Hope you guys get some fresh It is so tasty. Hopefully, it comes back next year. Shout out to Sierra Nevada. If y'all don't do it next year, for shame. Enjoy your Oktoberfest, Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest, because I love that beer. Cheers later.